Hello, and welcome back to Voice of Wisdom. What really changes after 80 that many don't talk about? It's often assumed that life simply becomes slower and quieter with age. However, reaching 80 introduces a different set of challenges and life experiences some eye opening, others tough to accept. Without proper guidance, these changes can take you by surprise. This video isn't meant to scare you, but to provide insight, offer support, and reassure you that you're not alone. By discussing the realities of aging openly, we can regain our strength, dignity, and self-worth. Whether you're over 55 or care for someone in this age group, understanding these 5 essential truths can change your perspective on aging. We'll talk about the emotional loneliness that may arise, even with loved ones nearby. We'll explore the physical discomfort that often becomes a constant companion. We'll touch on how the independence you once had starts to feel more fragile. We'll discuss the frustration of others making decisions for you, even when they mean well. And finally, we'll address the tough reality that even with so much to offer, your value is often overlooked. But here's the bright side. Recognizing these truths doesn't mean giving up. In fact, it shows that you've gained the wisdom to face them and say, I acknowledge these, but they don't define me. If you've reached the age of 80 or beyond, you've cultivated more strength, wisdom, and compassion than many can even fathom. So let's explore these 5 profound truths that can change the way you see yourself and the way you approach life from here on out. Number 1, emotional loneliness. There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't always come from being alone. It's the kind that shows up even when you're surrounded by people, family, caregivers, neighbors. After 80, many seniors begin to experience this silent ache. Not because no one visits, but because fewer people truly understand. The conversations get shorter, the visits feel more like obligations, and slowly, a deep emotional gap begins to form. It's not about being forgotten, it's about being unseen. And that kind of loneliness can be more painful than physical isolation. You see, emotional loneliness isn't just about physical presence, it's about connection. After 80, you've lived through generations of stories, seen the world change in ways younger people can't even imagine. But when you speak, you're often met with polite nods, distracted glances, or people talking over you as if your thoughts are outdated. That's not just frustrating, it's heartbreaking. You may start to wonder if your voice still matters, if anyone really cares about what you think or feel anymore. And even if they do, it can feel like they're always in a hurry to move on. This emotional disconnection is something Stoics knew well. They taught that we must learn to find peace within ourselves, even when the outside world fails to meet our emotional needs. But that doesn't mean pretending the pain isn't there. It means acknowledging it honestly and choosing not to let it break your spirit. It means finding new ways to connect to others, to nature, to your inner self, instead of waiting for someone else to do it for you. Emotional independence becomes not just a strength, but a necessity. Take the story of Walter, an 84-year-old retired teacher from Arizona. After his wife passed, his children would call once or twice a week, but conversations became more like check-ins than real connections. He told me one day, "They talk to me like I'm a fragile object, not a person, but I still think, I still feel." So Walter started writing letters, long, thoughtful ones to his grandchildren. And to his surprise, they began writing back. Real conversations began to return, not because they suddenly changed, but because he found a new way to reach out and be heard. That gave him a sense of purpose again. If you've ever felt that ache, that quiet, heavy loneliness that no one else seems to notice, please know that you're not alone in it. Many after 80 carry it silently day after day. But you don't have to stay stuck there. Sometimes it just takes one brave step starting a conversation, reaching out, expressing a feeling to remind the world that your heart is still wide open. And when that happens, emotional loneliness begins to lift, even just a little, and you reclaim a part of yourself the world may have forgotten. Number 2, loss of identity. When does a person stop being seen for who they are and start being seen only for what they've lost? After 80, many seniors find themselves silently asking this question. Over time, the world begins to define you not by your story, your values, or your wisdom, but by your ailments, your medications, or how many stairs you can climb. Friends and family might mean well, but the subtle shift is there. You're not Joe, the artist who built his life with passion and skill. You're Grandpa Joe who shouldn't be driving anymore. That change cuts deep, and it can slowly wear away at your sense of self. Our identity is shaped by what we do, what we believe, and how we contribute. But when the body slows down and society starts treating you like a fragile vase rather than a vibrant human being, something in your spirit starts to retreat. Suddenly, you're not asked for your opinion as much. Decisions are made for you instead of with you. And somewhere along the way, you begin to question if you're still you. Now, Stoic philosophy reminds us that our core self, our character, our virtues, our inner peace remain untouched even when our roles in society change. It teaches us to focus not on how the world sees us, but on how we choose to see ourselves. That's easier said than done, especially when every interaction subtly nudges you toward becoming invisible. But it's possible and it's powerful. Consider Ella Lehner, an 82-year-old woman from Oregon who spent her life running a small bakery. After retiring, people stopped asking about her recipes, her opinions, or her advice. She felt like a ghost in her own home, so she started something small. She began journaling her life lessons, one each day, for her granddaughter. A year later, that journal became a blog, and then a printed memoir shared by her community library. Eleanor didn't ask to be seen. She chose to be seen again by showing up as herself, loudly, boldly, and unapologetically. Losing identity after 80 isn't about forgetting who you are. It's about remembering that your worth doesn't expire just because your pace has slowed. You are still the sum of everything you've lived through, fought for, and believed in. And sometimes it takes a quiet rebellion, a decision to speak, to write, to create, or simply to stand your ground to remind yourself and others that you're still here, still valuable, and still undeniably you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, isolation and emotional disconnection. What happens when the phone stops ringing? The doorbell goes silent, and the conversations you once looked forward to become fewer and farther between. For many people over 80, this is the reality they wake up to every day. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's an ache that settles into your bones when meaningful connection starts to disappear. And often, it's not caused by a lack of love, but by the slow fade of presence physical, emotional, and social. At this stage of life, many friends have moved away, become ill, or passed on. Family members, though they care, are often busy or far away. And for some, their own health issues make socializing difficult. Over time, it becomes easier to stay in, to turn down invitations, or to convince yourself that you're just not up for it today. Before you know it, the walls of your home begin to feel like the edges of your world. But here's the hidden truth. Human beings are wired for connection, no matter their age. The heart doesn't age the same way the body does. The need to feel understood, valued, and emotionally close to someone doesn't fade. With time, it actually grows. According to many psychological studies, seniors who maintain strong emotional bonds live longer, experience less cognitive decline, and report greater levels of life satisfaction. Yet, the system rarely encourages or supports these connections after 80. Society often assumes you're too old to care, when in fact, it's the time you need connection the most. This emotional disconnection can quietly erode your will to engage with the world. You might start skipping social events, meals become quieter, and you stop initiating calls because you're afraid of being a burden. But Stoic wisdom offers a different path. It teaches us that while we cannot control others' presence, we can choose how we show up to the world, even in solitude. Reaching out, writing letters, volunteering in small ways, or simply engaging with a neighbor can reignite that emotional spark. Take Leonard, a retired mechanic in his early 80s living in Colorado. After his wife passed and his children moved to different states, he went almost 2 weeks without hearing a familiar voice. Herr felt invisible. Then one morning, he noticed a neighbor struggling to fix a mailbox. Leonard offered to help. That one simple act led to a weekly routine of small favors, coffee chats, and eventually a renewed sense of belonging. He didn't need a crowd. He needed connection. And he built it one hello at a time. The hardest part about aging isn't the physical slowdown. It's the emotional silence. But even in that silence, there's power. Power to reach out, power to reconnect, and power to remind yourself that you still matter. Not just in memory, but in the lives of others here and now. Number 4, loss of autonomy. What do you do when you can no longer decide what to eat, where to go, or even when to sleep? After the age of 80, many seniors face a quiet but deeply unsettling shift, the gradual erosion of autonomy. It often begins with small adjustments. Someone else starts handling the groceries. Your children step in to schedule your doctor appointments, or a caregiver decides when it's time for a nap. While these actions are well-intentioned, they slowly chip away at something far more precious than convenience or independence. Autonomy is not just about doing everything yourself. It's about having the right to choose how your day unfolds, even if help is needed to carry it out. When that choice is taken away or even subtly discouraged, it can feel like the world no longer trusts you to manage your own life. And over time, that leads to a deeper emotional toll, helplessness, frustration, and the quiet erosion of self-worth. Psychologists refer to this as learned dependency. When people are repeatedly told through words or actions that they can't be trusted to decide or act for themselves, they begin to internalize that belief. Seniors begin to say, "I'll just let them handle it." Even when they still have the mental and physical capacity to participate, this passive stance doesn't just affect mood. It can speed up cognitive and physical decline. Stoic philosophy reminds us that our dignity lies in our response, not in our circumstances. Even when certain physical freedoms are limited, the freedom to choose our attitude, to speak up, to participate in decisions about our own care remains sacred. As Epictetus wrote, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus can get the better of my will." Take Clara, an 83-year-old former nurse from Illinois. When she moved in with her daughter's family, she was grateful, but also quietly overwhelmed. Every meal, every outing, even what clothes she wore, were decided for her to make things easier. For months, she smiled and nodded, not wanting to be a burden, but inside, she felt invisible. Eventually, she sat her daughter down and said, "I may be slower, but I'm not gone. Let me be part of the decisions again." That conversation transformed their dynamic. Clara now picks her own outfits, helps with meal planning, and even chooses her own physical therapy routines. The shift was small, but the impact was enormous. Autonomy after 80 doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means being heard, being involved, and being respected. It means recognizing that your experience, your choices, and your voice still hold weight. Even if your body can't move like it used to, your mind and heart are still fully capable of steering the ship. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, disappearing social identity. The older we get, the more we begin to realize how much of our identity was tied to our roles, our careers, our family responsibilities, our social contributions. After 80, those roles begin to fade. You may no longer be the teacher who shaped young minds, the manager who ran an office, or even the grandparent who babysits the little ones every weekend. And when those titles disappear, many seniors are left with a quiet question echoing in the back of their minds. Who am I now? This loss of identity is not about vanity. It's about relevance. It's about waking up in the morning and having a reason to get dressed, a reason to contribute, a reason to feel seen. When society stops asking for your opinion, when conversations move faster than your hearing or energy can keep up with, you can begin to feel like you've been sidelined in a game you once played so well. What's more, this erasure isn't always intentional. Families are busy, technology moves fast, and younger generations sometimes forget that behind the wrinkles and white hair is a lifetime of wisdom, effort, and dignity. The result? Seniors start to shrink from conversations, avoid gatherings, and slowly retreat from the world not because they want to, but because the world has subtly signaled that they're no longer needed. But here's the truth. Your value doesn't expire. Your identity may evolve, but it doesn't vanish. Stoic philosophy tells us that external labels come and go, but the essence of who we are, our character, our virtue, our choices remains constant. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." In other words, even without the title, the goodness in you still matters. Let me share the story of Leonard, an 86-year-old widower from North Carolina. For 40 years, Leonard was a church pastor, a figure everyone in his community looked to for guidance. But when he retired and his wife passed, he felt forgotten. No more phone calls, no more Sunday meetings, no more Pastor Leonard. For a while, he just sat in silence, wondering what his purpose was. Now, one day, he started writing letters reel. Handwritten letters to young people in his town, offering words of encouragement, wisdom, and kindness. Those letters began to circulate. Some got read in school classrooms. Others were shared on social media by grateful parents. Suddenly, Leonard's identity wasn't retired pastor anymore. He was the man whose words bring peace. His role had changed, but his value never did. The lesson is this. After 80, your identity is not about what you used to do, but about who you still are. You are still someone with stories to tell, lessons to teach, and love to give. Your presence, your perspective, your voice, they still matter. So, if the world forgets to ask for you, don't be afraid to remind it. Show up, speak up, step back into the light, because disappearing is not your destiny. Being remembered for who you truly are is. Final thoughts. Living past 80 is a precious gift, but it comes with challenges that are often hard to face. It's not just about slower movement or joint pain. It's about how time quietly shifts the direction of your life, often without warning. It's the loneliness that settles when friends are no longer there. It's the moment you realize that parts of yourself, your roles, your vitality, your confidence have changed. Yet, the most important truth is that life beyond 80 doesn't mean the end of your purpose. It's the start of a more profound journey, filled with depth and meaning. What matters now is not how fast you move or how many names you remember. It's about the way you live, how you treat those around you, and how you continue showing up for yourself every day. These difficult truths are not meant to discourage you. They are reminders that you still control your inner world. You still have the power to choose how you react, how you connect with others, and how you embrace each new day even when life gets harder. You've made it this far through resilience. Even at 80, 85, or beyond, there are people who still need you, your wisdom, your guidance, and your presence. Never underestimate the power of just being yourself at this stage in life. As you continue your journey, take a moment to reflect on what these 5 truths teach you, not just about aging, but about truly living. Think about what you're still capable of creating, giving, and becoming. Life didn't stop at 80, it simply changed, and your role in it is still unfolding. Thank you for joining us here at Voice of Wisdom. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below and share something you've learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your insights mean a lot to us, so feel free to share. Reading your comments motivates and inspires us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful content that educates and inspires. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.